The start of a new year often feels like a blank canvas, a fresh opportunity for self-reinvention and growth. As the calendar turns, many of us find ourselves reflecting on the past and contemplating what we want to change or improve in our lives. Yet, the Stoics remind us that true transformation isn't about making grand resolutions that fade by February. It's about cultivating consistent habits that shape our character over time. This concept is beautifully encapsulated by Marcus Aurelius, who stated, "You must build up life action by action." In our fast-paced urban lives, it's easy to get swept away by the pressures of work, relationships, and the incessant demands of modern living. The Stoics understood that real change comes not from dramatic overhauls, but from the small, deliberate actions we take every day. Each of these actions is a stepping stone toward our larger goals. Imagine you're living in a bustling city like New York or Los Angeles, where distractions are plentiful and the noise of daily life can drown out your intentions. In such an environment, it becomes even more critical to ground ourselves in principles that guide us towards a more fulfilling existence. Throughout this video, we will explore 10 practical Stoic habits that can empower you to reinvent yourself in 2025 and beyond. These habits are not just theoretical concepts. They are actionable strategies designed for real life. Whether you're grappling with anxiety, striving for productivity, or seeking clarity amidst chaos, these Stoic practices will equip you with the tools for lasting change. Reinvention is not a single moment of transformation. It is a continuous process marked by the habits you choose to cultivate. Like a tree that grows steadily over time, your personal growth will flourish with consistent care and attention. Begin to think of your journey as an evolving masterpiece, where each brushstroke represents a small habit that contributes to the overall picture of who you are becoming. As we delve into these habits, remember that every small step counts. Consider the words of Seneca, who advised, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." In this light, every moment becomes precious, and every action carries weight. When faced with the chaos of urban life, it's easy to fall into the trap of procrastination, overwhelmed by the enormity of our aspirations. Instead, let us embrace the Stoic practice of focusing on the present moment. Reflect on what small action you can take today that aligns with your larger goals. For instance, if you aspire to write a book, starting with just a few sentences each day can lead to significant progress over time. In the same way, if your goal is to improve your health, committing to a daily 10-minute walk can set the foundation for a more active lifestyle. Each small habit you cultivate acts as a building block, contributing to your overall growth and reinforcing the idea that transformation is an ongoing journey. So as we embark on this exploration of Stoic principles, remember that the journey to reinvention is not about dramatic leaps, but about the small, consistent steps that lead to profound change. It is about harnessing the wisdom of the Stoics to inspire a mindset that values progress over perfection. Together, let's make 2025 a year of transformation, where we take actionable steps rooted in Stoic philosophy, allowing us to live with intention and purpose. Habit 1. Start small, achieve big. When we think about change, the allure of a dramatic overhaul can be intoxicating. The prospect of transforming our lives overnight is a compelling narrative that permeates popular culture. However, the Stoics teach us a different lesson. True, lasting change does not come from sweeping gestures, but rather from the small, deliberate steps we take consistently over time. This principle is encapsulated in the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who said, "You must build up life action by action." In the hustle and bustle of urban life, it's easy to overlook the power of small actions. Living in a city like New York or Chicago, where the pace is relentless, it's common to feel overwhelmed by the enormity of our goals. You might dream of improving your health, advancing your career, or nurturing better relationships. Yet, when faced with these aspirations, the sheer size of the change can paralyze us into inaction. This is where the Stoic principle of starting small becomes pivotal. Consider the metaphor of planting a tree. If you were to plant a seed, you wouldn't expect it to grow into a towering oak overnight. You would water it, provide it sunlight, and care for it daily. In the same way, your habits require nurturing. For example, if your goal is to improve your health, rather than committing to an intense workout program that feels daunting, start with a simple action. Commit to walking for 10 minutes every day. This initial small step is manageable, and as you stick with it, you build confidence and momentum. Over time, that 10-minute walk could evolve into a 30-minute run, leading to healthier eating habits and better sleep. The Stoics understood that the key to success is not to overwhelm ourselves with ambitious goals, but to focus on manageable actions that create momentum. A great way to reinforce this habit is to identify one small action you can take today that aligns with your larger goals. Write it down, commit to it, and do it consistently. Whether it's drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning, meditating for 5 minutes, or jotting down a single idea in a journal, remember that the size of the action doesn't matter, it's the habit of showing up that counts. Let's take a moment to look at practical applications of this principle. Imagine you have a dream of writing a novel. The idea of completing hundreds of pages can be daunting, and often this fear causes us to delay starting. But what if you shifted your focus? Instead of fixating on the end goal, consider writing just 100 words a day. In 3 months, you would have over 9,000 words, enough for a substantial portion of a novel. This approach not only makes the task more approachable, but also helps you overcome the fear of starting. Moreover, the Stoics believed in progress over perfection. Seneca wisely advised, "Begin at once to live and count each separate day as a separate life." This notion encourages us to focus on the small victories each day rather than waiting for some monumental achievement to validate our efforts. It's essential to celebrate these small wins. Each time you complete your small task, you reinforce your ability to take action, which builds your confidence and commitment to your goals. Tracking your progress can also enhance your commitment to small habits. You might consider using a habit tracker or journal to monitor your daily actions. For example, if your goal is to read more, start by committing to reading just 1 page a day. As you track your progress, you'll notice how quickly those pages add up. This visual representation of your efforts can serve as a powerful motivator, reminding you that every small action contributes to your larger aspirations. Additionally, surrounding yourself with supportive reminders can strengthen your commitment to starting small. Whether it's placing sticky notes around your living space with motivational quotes or joining a community of like-minded individuals who share similar goals, these external cues can keep you focused. For instance, if you want to cultivate a daily writing habit, consider joining a local writing group or an online forum where you can share your daily word count and receive encouragement. Another practical exercise is to create an action plan for your goals. List out your larger aspirations and then break them down into smaller, actionable steps. For example, if your goal is to advance in your career, you could break it down into the following steps. Research one new skill relevant to your job each week. Dedicate 30 minutes every day to online courses or workshops. Network with one colleague or industry professional each month. By breaking your larger goals into actionable steps, you eliminate the intimidation factor and make progress feel achievable. Moreover, it's essential to remember that starting small doesn't mean thinking small. The Stoics understood that while the actions may be small, they can lead to significant results over time. The essence of this habit lies in the understanding that each small action compounds and contributes to your overall growth. As you embark on your journey to reinvent yourself in 2025, continuously remind yourself of the power of starting small. Embrace each small step as a fundamental building block toward your larger goals. The next time you feel overwhelmed by the enormity of your aspirations, pause and reflect on what small action you can take today. Remember, it's not about changing everything at once. It's about building the foundation for big success through consistent, small actions. In conclusion, the Stoic practice of starting small encourages us to take manageable steps toward our goals. By focusing on the process rather than the destination, we cultivate habits that lead to lasting transformation. Every small action is a victory in itself, and with each step, you are reinforcing your ability to change and grow. As you move forward, keep in mind the words of Marcus Aurelius: "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." By cultivating quality habits through small actions, you are investing in a better, stronger version of yourself. Habit 2. Master your anxiety. Anxiety is a pervasive force in our modern lives, often manifesting as a storm that brews in the mind. It feeds on uncertainties, fears, and countless what-ifs that we cannot control. For many of us, it's not the events themselves that cause distress, but rather our endless anticipation of what might go wrong. The Stoics understood this well, with Epictetus famously stating, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them." This insight highlights the importance of perspective in mastering anxiety. In the bustling context of urban life, whether you're navigating the crowded streets of New York or the fast-paced environment of Los Angeles, anxiety can easily overwhelm us. The pressures of meeting deadlines, maintaining relationships, and pursuing personal goals can create a sense of chaos. However, the Stoic approach offers us valuable strategies to regain control over our thoughts and actions, ultimately transforming anxiety into a tool for personal empowerment. The first step in mastering anxiety is to shift your focus from what lies outside your control to what you can manage: your thoughts, actions, and reactions. Often, anxiety spirals from our fixation on external factors, how others perceive us, the outcomes of our efforts, or the uncertainty of the future. By redirecting your focus to what you can control, you take the wind out of anxiety's sails. Imagine you're preparing for a significant presentation at work. As the day approaches, your mind spirals. What if I forget what to say? What if they don't like my ideas? This anxious thinking pulls you into scenarios that haven't even occurred yet, leaving you paralyzed. To regain control, pause and ask yourself, what can I do right now? Perhaps it's rehearsing your opening line or reviewing your slides. By focusing on actionable steps, you replace helpless worry with purposeful action. Mindfulness is another powerful tool for mastering anxiety. The Stoics practiced staying grounded in the present moment, a principle echoed in Marcus Aurelius's words, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." When anxiety arises, bring your attention back to the here and now. Take a deep breath, feel your feet on the ground, and remind yourself that this moment is manageable. To illustrate this, let's consider a practical exercise. When anxiety takes hold, write down your fears. Seeing them on paper can reveal that they aren't as overwhelming as they seemed in your mind. Next, write down one action you can take to address each fear, no matter how small. For instance, if you're anxious about an upcoming exam, your fears might include, what if I fail, and what if I forget everything? Instead of spiraling, you could focus on creating a study schedule, reviewing key topics, and practicing relaxation techniques before the test. This shift from worrying to problem solving is crucial in mastering anxiety. The Stoics also remind us that much of what we fear is exaggerated. Seneca wisely noted, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." How often have you dreaded a difficult conversation or task only to find that it wasn't as bad as you anticipated? Anxiety thrives on worst-case scenarios, but reality is often far kinder. To master your anxiety, it's important to question its validity. Ask yourself, is this fear based on fact or assumption? What evidence do I have that this outcome will happen? Challenging your anxious thoughts helps you see them for what they are: possibilities, not certainties. Let's consider another example. Imagine a student on the verge of an important exam. Anxiety whispers, "What if I fail? What if I forget everything during the test?" Instead of succumbing to these thoughts, the student can focus on what they can control, creating a structured study plan, reviewing key topics regularly, and practicing relaxation techniques to stay calm. This approach not only prepares them effectively, but also calms the storm of anxiety. It's also vital to recognize that anxiety can serve as a signal, not merely a burden. It points to areas where preparation or self-reflection is needed. For example, if you feel anxious about starting a new job, that anxiety might remind you to research the company or brush up on essential skills. When viewed this way, anxiety becomes a guide rather than a foe. Think of anxiety like a wave. If you try to resist it, it crashes over you, leaving you overwhelmed. But if you learn to ride the wave, acknowledging its presence and working with it, you can move forward with greater ease and confidence. The next time anxiety knocks at your door, pause and remind yourself, this feeling doesn't control me, I control how I respond. By mastering your anxiety, you reclaim your peace of mind, empowering yourself to face life's uncertainties with strength and clarity. One effective practice to further master anxiety is to cultivate a daily mindfulness routine. This could involve meditative practices such as yoga or deep breathing exercises. For instance, set aside just 5 minutes each day to sit quietly, focus on your breath, and observe your thoughts without judgment. This practice helps to create a mental space where you can observe your anxious thoughts without being overwhelmed by them. Over time, this can build resilience, making it easier to manage anxiety in everyday situations. Furthermore, consider the practice of gratitude as a counterbalance to anxiety. Take a few moments each day to write down 3 things you are grateful for. This simple exercise shifts your focus from what you lack or fear to what is positive in your life. The Stoics emphasized the importance of gratitude, with Marcus Aurelius reminding us to appreciate the present moment. By focusing on gratitude, you cultivate a mindset that fosters resilience, allowing you to navigate anxiety more effectively. In conclusion, mastering anxiety is about shifting your perspective, focusing on what you can control, and cultivating mindfulness and gratitude. The Stoic teachings remind us that we have the power to shape our responses to challenges rather than being dictated by our fears. Each time you confront anxiety with actionable steps, you reclaim your strength and build resilience. Remember the wisdom of Epictetus: it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By incorporating these Stoic practices into your daily life, you can transform anxiety from a debilitating force into a catalyst for personal growth. Habit 3. Design your personal routine. Life in the modern world can often feel chaotic and unpredictable, especially in bustling urban environments like New York City or Los Angeles, where distractions abound and the pace of life is relentless. Amidst this chaos, the importance of a well-structured routine cannot be understated. The Stoics understood that having a consistent daily routine can serve as an anchor, helping us navigate the storms of life with clarity and purpose. Marcus Aurelius advised, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. This principle starts with how we shape our days. A routine isn't about rigidity or filling every moment with tasks. Instead, it's about creating a rhythm that aligns with your values, energy levels, and goals. When you design a routine that works for you, you free yourself from decision fatigue, reduce stress, and create a framework for consistent growth. Think of your daily life like a ship at sea. Without a clear course and steady navigation, the waves of distraction can push you off track. But with a solid routine, you chart your path, ensuring that each day moves you closer to your destination. To design a routine that serves you best, it's essential to start with self-reflection. Identify your priorities. What are the non-negotiable activities that align with your values and goals? For instance, if health is a priority, you might decide to include regular exercise in your routine. If personal growth is important, you could allocate time for reading or learning new skills. Imagine a busy professional in Chicago who feels overwhelmed by work. Without a routine, they may spend their days reacting to emails and jumping from one task to another without focus. However, by setting a clear schedule that blocks out time for deep work, short breaks, and planning, they regain control and improve their productivity. A well-crafted routine allows you to do what matters most without getting lost in a sea of distractions. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of beginning the day with intention. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." Consider starting your day with a moment of reflection. Ask yourself, what is my purpose today? How can I align my actions with my values? This simple habit sets a positive tone for the day ahead and helps you stay focused on what truly matters. Flexibility is another key aspect of a successful routine. Life is unpredictable, and rigid schedules can lead to frustration when things don't go as planned. Build in buffer time and allow yourself the freedom to adapt without guilt. For instance, if your morning workout gets interrupted, look for another time in the day to fit it in. The goal is consistency, not perfection. To further illustrate the importance of routine, consider the concept of anchor habits. An anchor habit is a behavior that naturally leads to other positive habits. For example, if you start your day with a morning workout, you may find that you are more inclined to eat healthier throughout the day. This ripple effect can lead to significant improvements in your overall well-being. Another practical way to design your routine is to conduct a daily review at the end of each day. Take 5 minutes to reflect on what went well, what didn't, and how you can improve the following day. This practice not only helps you stay accountable, but also allows you to make small adjustments to your routine as needed. For instance, if you notice that you're consistently feeling drained by the end of the day, it may be a sign that you need to incorporate more breaks or adjust your energy-intensive tasks. Additionally, consider using tools and techniques to enhance your routine. Time blocking is a popular method where you allocate specific blocks of time for different tasks. This strategy can help you stay focused and minimize distractions. For example, if you know that you're most productive in the morning, you might block off that time for your most important projects while reserving the afternoon for meetings or less demanding tasks. Incorporating mindfulness into your routine can also lead to significant benefits. Taking time to practice mindfulness, whether through meditation, deep breathing, or simply being present in the moment, can reduce stress and improve focus. As Seneca noted, a good character, when established, can never be overthrown. By cultivating a routine that includes mindfulness practices, you create a solid foundation for navigating challenges with a clear mind. Moreover, consider the power of accountability in your routine. Share your goals with a friend or join a community with similar aspirations. Having someone to check in with can motivate you to stick to your routine and hold you accountable. For instance, if your goal is to read more, consider joining a book club where you can discuss your progress and share insights with others. Let's take a moment to reflect on how routines can vary based on individual needs. A successful routine for a student preparing for exams may look very different from that of a working parent. The key is to design a routine that fits your lifestyle and aligns with your goals. For the student, this might involve setting specific study blocks and breaks, while for the parent, it could mean carving out time for self-care amidst family responsibilities. As you begin to implement your routine, remember that it's okay to start small. Introduce one new habit at a time and gradually build upon it. This incremental approach allows you to adapt to changes without feeling overwhelmed. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small, and use them as motivation to continue refining your routine. In conclusion, designing a personal routine is a powerful Stoic practice that can provide structure and clarity in our chaotic lives. By aligning your daily actions with your values and priorities, you create a framework for growth and fulfillment. The Stoics understood that a disciplined life leads to freedom, and a thoughtful routine is one of the most effective ways to embody that principle. As you reflect on your routine, consider the question, how can I shape my days to reflect my values and goals? Start small, stay consistent, and adjust as needed. By doing so, you cultivate a life of intention, balance, and progress, allowing you to navigate the challenges of modern living with grace and purpose. Habit 4. Break bad habits. Bad habits are like weeds that quietly infiltrate our lives, often disguised as harmless routines. Over time, these habits can entangle us, hindering our potential and keeping us from becoming the best version of ourselves. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes from self-mastery, and breaking free from bad habits is a critical step toward that freedom. Seneca wisely observed, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This principle underscores the importance of taking control of our actions and choices. In the fast-paced world we live in, it's easy to fall into the trap of bad habits. Whether it's mindlessly scrolling through social media, procrastinating on important tasks, or indulging in unhealthy eating, these habits can creep in unnoticed. The first step in breaking a bad habit is awareness. Reflect on your daily routines and identify the habits that are holding you back. Ask yourself, what behaviors are undermining my goals? How do these habits affect my well-being? For example, consider someone who habitually grabs their phone the moment they wake up. Instead of starting the day with intention, they may find themselves lost in a digital rabbit hole, consuming content that doesn't contribute to their personal growth. This behavior can set a negative tone for the day, leading to feelings of unproductiveness and distraction. Recognizing this pattern is the first step toward breaking it. Once you've identified a bad habit, the next step is to examine its root cause. Often, habits are formed as a response to stress, boredom, or a desire for comfort. Understanding why you engage in a particular behavior can help you address the underlying issue. For instance, if you find yourself turning to junk food when stressed, consider what's triggering that behavior. It may be a need for comfort or a desire to escape from overwhelming emotions. By identifying the trigger, you can begin to replace the bad habit with a healthier response. Breaking a habit doesn't necessarily mean stopping abruptly. Instead, it's about replacing it with something better. The Stoics believed in redirecting energy toward constructive actions. For example, if you want to stop procrastinating, focus on starting tasks in small, manageable steps. Instead of thinking, "I have to finish this entire project," reframe your mindset to say, "I'll work on it for just 10 minutes." This small action reduces resistance and builds momentum. Let's illustrate this with a practical example. Imagine someone who wants to break the habit of binge-watching television late at night. Instead of attempting to cut out all screen time, they could set a specific limit, such as watching one episode instead of an entire season. Additionally, they could replace the time spent binge-watching with a more fulfilling activity, such as reading a book or engaging in a hobby. This approach not only helps break the bad habit but also introduces more enriching experiences into their life. Changing your environment can also significantly aid in breaking bad habits. The Stoics recognized that our surroundings influence our actions. If you're trying to eat healthier, stock your kitchen with nourishing foods and remove tempting junk food. If you want to reduce screen time, consider placing your phone in another room or using apps that limit usage. These environmental tweaks reduce friction and make it easier to stick to your goals. Moreover, it's crucial to practice self-forgiveness throughout the process of breaking bad habits. Change is rarely linear, and setbacks are a natural part of the journey. Marcus Aurelius reminds